Yo, what's up? Ogechi, Aghaji, aka Oaghaji here with another review. Now, before I begin, just want to let y'all know, as usual, that if y'all hear any talking and background noise and whatnot, that's my family. Excuse me, just had some to eat. Even though it's a little quiet right now, just want to give y'all the heads up, just in case. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's begin this review. Now, today's review is going to be on the 1971 Hong Kong Kung Fu film classic from Golden Harvest Studios, and that is The Big Boss, starring the late, great Bruce Lee. Now, this film was released in the United States as Fists of Fury, but The Big Boss is a more appropriate title. The Cantonese title for this film is Tong Dai Ying. It's like Big Brother from China, or Chinese, or a man from China travels, Chinese Big Brother, you know what I'm saying? Or Big Brother from China, basically, you know what I'm saying? Which kind of fits, within the context of Bruce's character. In the English style, the Big Boss fits with the main villain played by Hong Yin This film also stars both that, like I said, it also stars James Tien, Maria Yi, Lee Kwan, Billy Chen-Wen-I, Ying, Shan. Who else? Anthony Lau Wing or Tony Lau Wing or Tony Liu. You know what I'm saying? Who else? Lam Ching, like I said, and many more. You know what I'm saying? And the guest appearance of Nora Meow as well. Just want to give y'all the heads up. As y'all can see, I'm using disc number one of the Criteria Collection Bruce Lee Collection on Blu-ray, which is cool for this review. Yeah, let's talk about the synopsis of the plot, shall we? Excuse me. Now, the story revolves around Ching Chuan, or Chin Chao in Mandarin, who immigrates to Thailand to work in an ice factory. And he went there and he made a promise to his mom that he will not get into any fights. Oh yeah, I almost forgot that he is a very skilled kung fu fighter. Now, the reason for why he made this promise, especially wearing this jade necklace, is because his father was a very skilled martial artist, and he died in a fight. And because of this, his mom, wants him to not fight because he's the only man in the family, and he has all of his siblings. So, it's basically the filial piety thing. You know, the next generation of the family, has to continue on and things like that because of that. So that's why he made that promise. On the way, he meets his, relatives, his Chinese relatives in Thailand. Most of them will work in the ice factory. You have one played by Maria Yi, who's like the love interest, doing some of the housework and cooking and all that. And you have the little kid, who is like a member of the family, basically. you know, um, the big brother, the eldest brother, played by James Tien, works at the ice factory as well. You know what I'm saying? And he goes in to investigate, one of the missing workers there that got killed. You know what I'm saying? And find out he also got killed. And because of this, Chen Chao decides to investigate this matter. Along the way, he finds out that the ice factory is a front for a drug smuggling ring in Thailand. You know what I'm saying? And that is led by the big boss himself, played by Hong Yin Che. And so he has to fight against, the big boss and his son, played by Tony Lau Wing or Tony Liu, as well as their henchmen as well in this bloody epic. That's pretty much the synopsis of the film. I can give. Excuse me. Sorry, y'all. I have to cough in for a second. I apologize. Um, the story, yeah, it is basic. You know what I'm saying? It is, a low though to be fair, it is a low budget Hong Kong kung fu film. You know what I'm saying? It's shot in location in Thailand. You know what I'm saying? And also, you know what I'm saying, this is at the time where Golden Harvest was a new studio and they're desperately trying to get ahead, you know what I'm saying, and trying to compete with Shaw Brothers at the time. And this film is also known as Bruce Lee's, first martial arts film, you know what I'm saying, in Hong Kong, you know what I'm saying. I mean, he before that he was a child actor in Hong Kong back in the 1940s and 50s. Then he moved to he left for America, and he at first retired from acting to focus on his martial arts training and things of that nature. And he will go to develop the Jeet Kune Do, or the way of the intercepted fist, all the way. But and before that, it was Jun Feng Kung Fu and non-classical Kung Fu and things of that nature. And then he was selected to be played as Kato from the Green Hornet. At first, it was an audition to be, Charlie Chan's son, but then he would be cast as Kato in the Green Hornet. You know what I'm saying? And Hong Kong, loved Bruce Lee for that role, and they named it the Kato Show because of that. You know what I'm saying? And so at first he went to Shaw Brothers, but he didn't like the contract, you know what I'm saying? So he went to Golden Harvest, and especially Raymond Chow. And that's how he got the part in The Big Boss. At first, James Tien was supposed to be the main hero of the film, the leading man. But, they decided to have Bruce Lee in to see, who has the most charisma. And surprise, surprise, Bruce Lee had the most charisma, and James Tien's character got killed off. Oop, spoilers. No, I talked about the plot, so it's not that much of a spoiler. Anyway, like I said, the story, it's very thin, you know what I'm saying, but, very basic, but it definitely works within the context of this film. It's definitely enjoyable, Not every martial arts film has to be deep with its plot, like I said before, There's nothing wrong with a martial arts film with a straightforward plot as long as it's done well. And for the most part, it's done well. Could have been better, but done well for the most part. The characters are all pretty interesting, especially Tin Chuan, aka Chen Chaoan, the Mandarin, played by Bruce Lee. James Sin as the big brother, you know what I'm saying, and Lee Kwan, Maria Yi, Long Ying, Wu-Ngai, and others did a fantastic job in their roles as well. And Ho Yin Jae is awesome as the main villain, the big boss, you know what I'm saying. And Tony Lau Wing did a fantastic job as the son of the big boss, you know what I'm saying. Especially with this martial arts film, which I'm going to cover at the action portion of this, you know what I'm saying. So, and some of the comedy in this film is also pretty fun as well, you know what I'm saying. I got a few laughs there. Now, with that said, the story, characters, acting, and comedy each get a 4 out of 5 and 5 out of 5 each. Now, the action in this film is definitely pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? We get to see, Bruce Lee's martial arts skills in action, especially with his kicks, his punches. You know what I'm saying? His nickname is Bruce Three Kicks, or the Samga in Cantonese, because he does like 3 kicks in the film. You know what I'm saying? Which makes sense. You know what I'm saying? He's very different from from the martial arts art actors that have a Chinese opera background. Sorry about that. I almost messed up there. You know what I'm saying? Martial arts actors who have a martial arts background that's rooted in the Chinese opera, and traditional Chinese kung fu too. Well, then again, Bruce Lee does have a traditional Chinese kung fu background as well as his Jeet Kune Do background, which is he created. So, uh, anyways, like I said, the action is pretty dope. The fight scene between Bruce Lee and Tony Liu, or Tony Lau Wing, is pretty good. You know what I'm saying? The final fight is phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? Between Bruce Lee and Ho Yin Jae, very well choreographed. You know what I'm saying? It's shot pretty well, but could have been shot a a little bit better. It's when Bruce Lee did like the up close kicks, yeah, that could have been shot a little bit better in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So they should have worked a little bit better on that. But it works. You know what I'm saying? For what it delivers for the most part. Um, let's see. The fight scene's very well choreographed, you know what I'm saying? And edited pretty well, you know what I'm saying? No complaints there, too, you know what I'm saying? The film as a whole was shot very well in location of Thailand, you know what I'm saying? Which is pretty cool. Uh, the music in this film is also pretty dope, too, you know what I'm saying? I recommend watching the original Mandarin version. You know what I'm saying? Its soundtrack blows the English soundtrack out of the water. You know what I'm saying? Even the Cantonese soundtrack, blows the English soundtrack out of the water, in my opinion, as well. So, the action, cinematography, editing, lighting, and music get a 4 out of 5 and 5 out of 5 each. Overall, The Big Boss is a pretty dope 1971 Hong Kong kung fu film classic from Golden Harvest and from Bruce Lee. I highly recommend y'all checking this out if you're a Bruce Lee fan, especially if you mostly are familiar with him with the Dragon and want to see his martial arts films that he did in Hong Kong. So his next few films, Fist of Fury and Way of the Dragon, are better, but it's definitely pretty good of its own, in my opinion. So this film gets a 4 out of 5. Yeah, a 4 out of 5. Hopefully, y'all enjoy this review, despite some hiccups here and there. I apologize on that, and all with all the brain farts and all the stuff. It's been a long day, and I'm also doing this off the cuff too. So please bear with me. I'm gonna do better with the off and cuff reviews. You feel me? Anyways, let me know what y'all think about The Big Boss in the comments below if y'all watching already. If y'all like this video, y'all can hit that like button, share it, subscribe to the channel. If y'all enjoy this type of content, y'all can also follow me on my other social media accounts and stay tuned for more reviews and more of the videos along the way. With all that said, it's your boy, Ogechi Aghaji, aka Oaghaji, aka the Perfect Sensei from the West Coast, signing out. Peace.